More heavy snowfalls in the east tonight have brought travel chaos to many areas of Dublin, Louth and Meath. Flights in and out of the country have been severely disrupted, with flights at Dublin Airport suspended tonight. It was confirmed a short time ago flights wouldn't resume until 11 o'clock at the earliest. It's snowing again in northwest and west Donegal, in the Guidor and Rosses areas. Roads there are also reported to be hazardous.
Fresh snowfalls quickly brought traffic congestion in eastern counties, with commuters delayed for hours on roads including stretches of the N11, M1 and M50 in Dublin. Met Éireann says these snowfalls are expected to continue in the east and along the Atlantic coast tonight. More snow could be on the way.
There's a weather system over Wales and the southwest of England we're monitoring closely at the moment, and that's going to come toward us, and I think probably giving us some snow showers over East Leinster, perhaps East Munster during the second half of Tuesday and Tuesday night.
The National Roads Authority says salt supplies will now be down to the wire over the next few days. Just 8,000 tonnes are left, pending the arrival of the first of new supplies on Wednesday night.
And then every 3 to 4 days after that, during the Christmas period, we will have deliveries. So we'll be back up to about 25,000 tonnes over the Christmas period, which should get us through this latest weather event.
Because of the weather, An Post has warned that deliveries in most areas may be later than normal, while in the Midlands and West there may be no service. The Department of Education says it's up to individual schools whether to open early in the new year to make up for days lost. Some have lost 12 days so far. Meanwhile, water mains repairs and nighttime restrictions are starting to improve water reserves in the Dublin region. The local authorities there say they will now be able to provide a full service over Christmas. But Met Éireann is predicting more freezing temperatures until Thursday. And it says Christmas Day could have some snow or sleet, turning to rain as a thaw begins. John Carraine, RTE News, Dublin.
Across the north and west, temperatures plummeted last night, with a record low of -18 degrees recorded in Castleder, County Tyrone. And the impact this morning was more treacherous driving conditions and schools closed yet again. With salt supplies at critical levels in counties like Donegal, treatment was not as effective as councils would like in sub-zero temperatures. In County Galway, roads in Connemara were particularly dangerous, and in the city, people were being asked to think of those who are struggling with poverty as well as the weather.
We're actually saying to people, for God's sake, keep the heat on. It's very, very important, particularly elderly people or people with small children. We are here to help. We'll be here again in January and February, so don't worry about the heat. Keep it on and contact us.
The ongoing bad weather is by now taking a serious toll on businesses.
Shopping week, when people have the biggest spending spree of the year, and it's not happening. Shoppers are not able to get to the shops. Supply trucks are not able to get as far as the shops, and it's generally all clogged up.
In Sligo, restaurants and hotels were just getting over the first blast of bad weather when the latest one hit, and yet more Christmas nights out were cancelled.
First time it was devastating. We wiped us out completely. I lost over 200 covers that weekend alone. Saturday and Friday night, I just closed up. There was no point. This time, people have learned to deal with it a little bit better. Last weekend, I would have only lost about 120, but it was a huge weekend.
For business people, the thaw can't come quickly enough. But in the meantime, they hope that people will find a bit of Christmas cheer, brave the elements and support their local businesses. Eileen Magner, RTE News, Sligo.
Dublin Airport will remain closed until at least 11 o'clock tonight. Airports in Cork, Shannon, Belfast and Derry are open, but delays and cancellations are likely.
Despite the heavy snowfalls, the runway at Dublin Airport stayed open this afternoon, with teams regularly spraying both the runway and the wings of planes with de-icer. However, the knock-on effect of the disruption at other European airports was being felt. This is one of the busiest weeks of the year for Dublin Airport, and either the beginning or the end of the journey for many who are making their way home for Christmas. Today it was filled with the relief of those who had made it and the worry of those who fear they won't.
I'm flying to Brussels because I'm studying here, and it's a bit annoying because I want to go for Christmas home and I can't for the moment, so I hope I will have a flight as soon as possible.
Can't get to Denver until at least Christmas Eve. They said I could be a standby passenger.
I missed my connection to Chicago, and they're not sure if they can get me another flight until around the 24th.
We're just stuck here until I suppose we can get out to Charles de Gaulle or some other connection to bring us on to Toronto. Got our flight this morning. It was meant to be yesterday, so 24 hours delay.
I was fortunate enough I got my flight changed. I got a new route through Dublin, through Zurich, through Dublin, so I'm home.
Just a bit of a blessing now this Christmas then that I can come home.
However, by 6 o'clock this evening, the impact of the heavy and extended snowfall became too much, and the airport suspended flights until the runway is deemed safe. Passengers are advised to check their airline's websites. Anne-Marie Smith, RTE News, Dublin Airport.
To try to clear some of the backlog at Heathrow, they're flying through the night tonight and tomorrow night. Normally, flights in and out of here end at 11 o'clock. But even with the extended flying time, Heathrow will still be only operating about a third of its normal services. That's because one of the airport's 2 runways is closed and likely to remain so for at least another 24 hours. It means the delays and cancellations at Heathrow are likely to continue up to Christmas Day and possibly beyond. The congestion inside the terminals is appalling. Some passengers are now facing their 3rd night sleeping on an airport floor. The British Airports Authority, who run Heathrow, are saying don't come here unless you've confirmed your flight is definitely departing.
We've got to be sure that people don't come to the terminals unless they're sure that their aircraft is departing. And that is absolutely our plea to passengers. Get an absolutely bang-up-to-date confirmation before you come to the airport that your aircraft is genuinely going to depart.
Most other British airports like Gatwick and Stansted have been operating today, but with considerable delays. The weather's also affected other European hubs like Frankfurt and Charles de Gaulle in Paris. Brussels airport is closed until Wednesday because they've run out of de-icer. The Eurostar train between London and Paris has also been hit. Some passengers at London's St Pancras station had to queue for up to 5 hours today just to get on the train. But at Heathrow, as the ice builds up around parked aircraft tonight, they're preparing themselves for another horror story tomorrow. Brian O'Connell, RTE News, Heathrow Airport.
Anne-Marie Smith is at Dublin Airport. Brian O'Connell joins us from Heathrow. Anne-Marie, any further news on how long the airport there is likely to remain closed?
Well, it will be 11 o'clock at the absolute earliest that it will be open, and it could be later than that depending on weather conditions. The snow kept falling after 6, after the airport runway was closed, and it's eased off now, but it comes back in flurries, and that makes it all the more difficult for the snow and ice teams to clear the runway. They're working non-stop, but they have between 40 to 50,000 tonnes of snow to move, and when that's done, they still have to, sweepers have to sweep the runway before they can treat it with de-icer, potassium acetate. So it will take that length of time, and if there are any further snowfalls, that will delay it. In the meantime, there are thousands of passengers affected. Up to 60 flights have been affected, and there are long queues forming in the airport with people trying to find out what their options are, trying to make alternative arrangements, and passengers are still being advised to check with their websites before they make any arrangements to travel to the airport.
And Brian, how realistic now are the prospects for Irish people who are trying to get home for Christmas through British airports?
That depends entirely, Anne, on the weather. It's just started snowing again here at Heathrow. They've already closed Gatwick for a couple of hours to clear the snow there because it's been snowing there. In Dublin, if that airport stays closed after 11 o'clock, Aer Lingus is going to suffer severe congestion here at Heathrow. The reason is they've got 17 aircraft that aren't in the right place. If Dublin doesn't reopen tonight, it's going to make it much more difficult with the corresponding knock-on effects here. They are hoping to run a reasonably good scheduled service to airports like Gatwick, but here at Heathrow, this is where they're going to have the real problem. They've only got one runway here. If this snow continues as it is, even the day after tomorrow, it's unlikely they're going to be able to open the second one. That's going to have a real knock-on effect coming up to Christmas Day, and at that point you do begin to wonder whether everybody's going to get home for Christmas.
Brian, Anne-Marie, thank you both.